Alright, back in the shop, got the place cleaned up a little bit. Gonna get back to work on this enclosure. As you see here, we got a long way to go on it. So what I've worked on right here is I'm working on the chain for the top half. So we got here is the hole drilled that's going to bring a lot of the cables in through here. And there's a chain mount on the other side. It's kind of hard to see, but here is the chain holder. There's a chain that comes on the bottom that goes down, and one that hangs in front of it. Explain all that here in a little bit. So if you look right here, here is the one chain mount right here. This is going to be direct extrusion, so we're not going to have a motor here. And then this is the mount that goes to the hot end. We'll flip it around here. We'll flip it around and show you the bed bracket. This uses a concept I designed for the Ender 3 where it doesn't change the distance of your springs. And basically this will go on right here. So the way this is going to work is this will bolt on right here in the back. This bolts on in the front. And there's your chain right there. Because of the wire itself, once the wire's in there, I believe that'll all work fine. It won't get caught up on itself. Okay. That should work. There could be adjustments to these parts. We'll go ahead and figure out the spacing for the Ender 3 on the bottom and do the same thing we did on the top. Get that bracket in. Then we need to work on the brackets for the exhaust that goes on the back, that works off the controller. Yeah, once we get that done, we can disassemble this whole thing and take it to paint. It's going to be black. Alright, to square this up, there's a little lip that this bracket leaves so you can't get up tight. So what I do is I put this square up here against it, make sure it's not hitting on this other bracket over here. What we want to do is just have our square flat along this edge. We want to hit each post, pivot the bracket as needed so that you're touching the same on both, and then you'll be perfectly square there. And then do the other side is more complicated. Unfortunately, best to take the motor off. And it's really tight, so what we do is just put this on the back side here, so you don't have room. Unless you have one smaller, you can use anything here that's true. You don't have to put it on the back side. You could just put a piece of wood that's the same. And what I'm going to do is put it at a slight angle so I know we're true here, and then we just want to make sure that our two screws are touching our square at the top, and then we'll have this nice and squared up. Alright, so it's a little dark in here. Got the Ender 3 assembled. I do have my hole cut. I believe it needs to be bigger. I'm going to need to print the brackets for this printer right here. I believe that the bracket here will be the same. The bracket here will be the same. The bracket on the front, I believe, is going to be different. Alright, we're going to give this a shot here. Okay, while the Ender 3's printing us some parts, start looking at some of the other things that need to be done. So this is the cool tube for the LED that goes across. We basically need to replicate that, and this is just an incandescent 110 bulb, high heat. We can flick on if we just want more light. This is more of a color accent light to make it look cool inside there. But when we really want to be able to see, we'll just flip this switch on and we'll have a light and have an oven bulb in there. 40-watt oven bulb will be fine. So what we need to do is put the same hole as on the top for the cool tube, and then position our incandescent light behind it. People that don't know what the cool tube is, this is the cool tube. Basically there's a two brackets on the end. There's one here, holds that extruded aluminum in that bracket. The other one on the other side has a fan on it, and it constantly blows air through it. We're going to cool the LED because we're going to have it hooked to our printer, and we don't want to have an LED failure take out our motherboard on our printer or have any other kind of disasters. So the top one is wider because there was a miscut, so we had to make it wider. The bottom ones are not like that. I had made a template for the top to cut the hole. So my template's not going to work. So I snapped it on there, and I'm going to drill the holes here. Maybe even cut this down on the table chop saw real quick. Get it the right size, and then I can use that for a template on this wall to figure out where my hole is going to be. Okay, so the rivet hits the 5/8 square tube on the inside. Can't really be any lower than that, probably. All right. Now, there is a lip on the front, on the inside, that's right there. See, that looks pretty good. I should probably put a square on it. It's a little bit hard to figure out. Square. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going to try to get this lined up on that line, which I think that's pretty good. So throw on it. I just want to make sure I'm on that line down there. Alright. Alright, first thing is I'm just going to knock the center point. So we're going to drill the holes first. If not, this lip's going to be very thin. It's going to cause some problems. Oh. Alright, we get a step bit and we'll put this little hole. Do you hear that noise coming from inside the cabinet? Uh-oh. I hear a noise that's not good. That's not good. So that was actually a whole bunch of nothing. I had to restart the part though. What was wrong, if you look in the video, you'll see this right here, wedged in right here, preventing the X-rail from going up on one side. It's causing the nozzle to hit the print, and it was basically stuffed up by the print. Okay, here's the light fixture that needs to be altered. I'm not so sure about there being enough space to do this. Yeah, the wheel on my mouse is not working. It's going to be pretty brutal. $48. I'd like to gain about 48, which I easily can. So I'm going to go 50. That switch should still fit in there. I mean, you'll have to be careful tightening it down. I could fix the cover, but it's not worth fixing. There'll be a little gap right here on each side. Five millimeters. Just double check this right here, make sure that everything is attached to it, which it is. Okay, so like according to my calculations, that should work. Apparently I haven't made a cover for this thing yet. Alright, so I just wanted to put me a little line at 1 millimeter, and then make me a 2 millimeter circle. Alright, there's two little things you want to do here. Take 0.1 out of that. Do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so that should slide right on there. I'm gonna, probably that's it for today. Tomorrow I'll work on getting the flange with the fan in, cut the holes, pretty much have this mock-up done. A couple more parts to print at a PETG for the inside on the Ender 3. But we're close to getting this thing painted.